You leave me a surprise?
Life is full of work and stress. Parenting can be a mess. Being a woman is hard enough without adding on that extra stuff. We'll cover topics of every kind. Helpful resources we will find. We'll even drink a bottle of wine. Join us. It will be a real good time.
Hi, Nikki. How are you? Not so hot. How about you? This is the part of the show where Larry comes out and sings a silly song. So without further ado, silly songs with Larry. Everybody's got a white buffalo. I shouldn't do this. Should keep it in. What was I thinking of the other day from VeggieTales that popped in my brain in the shower of all places?
Hi, I'm Amanda.
And I'm Nikki.
And welcome to Working Mom's Wine, where we drink a bottle of wine.
And whine about our crazy, busy, stressful working mom lives. And then when we can, we try to pull together some resources that will help both us and you in the process.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, maybe, sometimes.
If we can even get things working in the first place, because we just spent 50 minutes, not 15, 50, trying to get connected.
Yeah, my laptop is on its last legs. It does not like being off of its cooling rack, and we can't record with it on the cooling rack because it makes a humming noise that gets picked up by the microphones. And I cannot afford a new one, so thank God the mobile app worked.
Yep.
I'm coming to you from my phone, so let us know if there's any quality issues that you notice, but please join our Patreon and sponsor my new laptop.
Yep. I could put a tier on there for that. Nikki's laptop. Yeah. Before we whine, shall we get into the wines?
Mm-hmm.
We come at you from separate locations again today, and I can't remember if we've done this one already, but I picked up another 19 Crimes called The Punishment. It is a Pinot Noir. So the Pinot Noir has cherry and strawberry fruit flavors complemented by vanilla and spice oak undertones. The oak's really light. You can barely even tell that it's there. But it does taste very good, and it's 13.5%, so yay.
Heck yeah!
What do you have today?
I have my classic go-to, the
Of
Black
course.
Box Cabernet. This one is the chili version. I know there's a California, I think, and a chili.
Oh,
Rich
yeah.
aromas of dark fruit complemented by a deep, luscious body. The finish is soft and long, with lingering notes of berry.
I used to have a
Sounds
deep,
dirty.
luscious body.
And of course, it's coming to you from my beautifully hand-painted wine glass that
Nice.
says, "Sip me, baby, one more time."
If any of you have a Club 33 membership for Magic Kingdom in Orlando, please let us know. We are giving bribes. We are giving bribes to go there next December for Nikki's 40th.
I might be turning a milestone birthday age, and we might 100% definitely be going to Disney for it. I was there on my 30th. I gotta be there on my 40th.
That's right.
So yeah, we're trying to plan all the extra special things, and we were kind of joking around at some of the ideas, and then Amanda was like, if we could find someone that is a member of Club 33 that would take us in as guests, and I was like, I feel like that's a long shot, but that would be awesome.
Yeah, it's a very
that
big
would
long
be
shot.
Epic.
Honestly, depending on how big of a reservation you can get, I would even let you and Mom go. And then I can try to get in later sometime. Okay. I wanted to update the membership while I was thinking about it. Where's my... Oh. Okay. Found it. Have I shown this off yet?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think I might have saw it sitting on your desk last time, but we didn't talk about it on here.
It's a boba tea candle.
It's so cute.
And it smells like lychee, or however you say it. And every time I set my wine down, I'm like, oh, look, it's my cute little boba tea candle. Five Below, believe it or not. It's like
Wow.
saying your
I
dress
thought you
has
were going to tell me
pockets.
it was part of that subscription box thing.
Nah, it's not.
Hmm.
Okay. Let's say, let's turn the book club one. Oh no!
What'd you do?
Remember how we kept telling people that we had a book club they should sign up for? I never published that tier.
Oh, I thought you were going to say somebody signed up and we didn't know.
Nope. It wasn't
I
even
was
there
like,
to sign up
no.
for it. Not that people were reaching out and saying, hey, we can't find it, but if people
Yeah,
had
because
wanted to
nobody
sign up, they
listens
would
to
have been
us.
able to. I know.
I did tell Nick about it last night, so if we get a few, it might be
That's
him.
funny. I'm going to leave this in then.
Hi,
We'll
Nick.
call it the equipment fund.
I said, nobody listens to us, but we have a lot of fun.
That's right. We have
If you are
15 or
listening to us,
17
I don't mean
subscribers.
nobody. I don't mean you're nobody.
Today we're going to whine about jury duty. Poor Nikki has been called to do her civic duty, and it has been a hassle and a half trying to communicate with the courts, and she even
Yeah.
got double booked. So let's
Mm-hmm.
explore that today.
Yeah, maybe like a year-ish ago, I got a notification in the mail that I might be selected for federal jury duty. And I had the little questionnaire thing that I had to go fill out online and
Mhm.
send back. And then months passed and I heard nothing. And I was like, oh, maybe I wasn't selected. I don't know, whatever. I wasn't going to complain, you know? So then I get a letter in the mail that tells me these are the dates that I have to be on call basically for jury duty. And it's a 2 week time stretch, which is difficult for me to keep open as a single mother who works two jobs and is the primary caregiver for my young
And
daughter
when your
who is
job
out of
is
school.
appointment based.
Yes, and my job is appointment based. Both of them are. So I make appointments to call people at certain times and I make them months, weeks in advance. So it's difficult, but I'm not about skirting out of my duty. And I believe that the juries could use just really wonderful, wise, and intelligent women like me on them. But I was not happy because I had no idea how I'd be able to manage it. Like my life already walks at the tippy top of the line of being overwhelmed. And
Hmm.
so trying to add something like this to the plate makes me crash sometimes. So I crashed. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? First of all, it's downtown. It's a good like 45 minutes from my house. And I have a super old car and one that is unfortunately very easy to break into and steal because I have that Hyundai that has been in the news the last year because of all the
So,
issues they're having with people being able to steal it really easily.
just to let you guys know, the address she will be at is. No, I'm joking. Go steal the car.
Well, so then they tell you their preferred parking garage where you can get your parking validated, and I look it up online for the purpose of getting directions to where I'm going to be driving to. And when I'm doing that, all the reviews pop up on the side, and every single one is this place is trash, it's unsecure, every time I park here, my car gets broken into,
Oh
nothing
no.
positive. And not that people would probably go out of their way to put a positive review about a parking garage, but there's so many bad ones. And I'm like, just another thing added to my plate where I was like, F, like, what am I going to do? I can't drive my car there. I can't afford to have my car stolen. I can't afford to be in my car when somebody tries to steal it. What am I going to do? Leave Ari in the hands of her father for the rest of her life? No, I'm just kidding. So, all these things piling up, making me kind of panic inside. And then, of course, I'm supposed to be figuring out Ari's summer schedule. I have two grandmothers who want to help watch her, and I have to coordinate what day she's going to go where in
Yeah.
between my work schedule and the custody schedule and her swimming lessons and all these other things that just conglomerate into a massive mess.
Right.
And this is over the span of Ari's dance recital as well.
Yeah.
So I was panicking that I was not going to be able to prepare her, like get her ready, do her makeup and her hair and all of that,
Mm-hmm.
take her, watch her. I'd also volunteered to help, run things there in a couple different roles. So I was like, oh God, this is a mess. What am I going to do? So then I'm blocking out a 2-week time period at the beginning of the summer. And I'm like, this sucks. And it's also over the week I've taken for PTO for like a trip, a vacation, anything. Not that I can afford any kind of vacation, but I do live in a nice lake community that has a beach. So
Right.
I plan to relax on the beach some. But now I might be in a jury. So I was mad about all of that. But I think what frustrated me the most was that there was no way. Everyone kept telling me I should be able to get out of it because I'm a single mom and a primary caregiver. And there was no way to request that. The
Mm-hmm.
eJuror website had a place, but it wouldn't let you submit. Every time you submit, it gives an error. So then I would call on the phone and nobody would pick up. And I'm like, there was no automated thing. Well, there was, but it would send me in a circle. There was no voicemail. There was nobody answering. And I'm like, what? So after a couple of days of trying that, I just gave up and said, whatever, I'm just going to have to do whatever happens. I tried to forget about it because I got that letter probably like a month or two in advance, and it basically said on this day you have to call this number after 4:30 to find out if you're going to be needed the following Monday. Well, that Friday was this Friday, so I called and they're like, "Well, we want you, but not until the second week." And I was like, "Well, thank God, because that at least gets me through the dance recital and rehearsal stuff."
Mm-hmm.
And then I have to call. Rehearsal is Thursday. I have to call Friday to find out if they need me, and recital is Saturday.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I might make it. I might make it at least to clear through dance week.
Right.
So I just figured all that out. I had finally communicated to everybody the update of what was going on because I basically texted everybody when I got that letter and said, I'm going to need help if I have to go
Right.
because there's no way that I would think that Dan would be able to get her ready into all this dance stuff by himself, like put on makeup and do her hair and all this stuff.
Right.
I updated everybody. I walked out to my mailbox. I am not kidding you. I had just updated everybody about this stuff. I walked to my mailbox, and what is in my mailbox? A jury summons for the state level. I almost had a conniption in my parking lot. I got inside. I was cursing up a storm. What the hell? Why don't they talk to each other? Doesn't the system say something about it? And the one of them is in my current legal name and the other one is in my previous legal name even, but it's sent to the right address. It's just got the wrong last name on it. And I'm like, I wonder if that matters. So I'm just like in a tizzy, freaking out again. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, I haven't been called once in 38
Right.
years, and I suddenly get called twice within a month of each other? That they were
Right.
like, what the? So I was complaining to my friend, and she says, well, they claim that it's completely randomized. It can't possibly be, because everyone that we've ever known that has been called for jury duty gets called more than once and within a certain like time of each other. Like
Yeah, that is
it's like
interesting.
you get nothing for most of your life and then suddenly you're called back to back to back all the time. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, that is interesting. Like I don't know many people that have talked about their jury service, but she was able to give me several examples. And I was like, dang, that is weird. And then it happened to me. So I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God. But on a more positive note, she did say that there is some sort of rule where you're not supposed to have to serve back to back like that, like there's some sort of time frame or something. And I saw somewhere 2 years, but then I wasn't sure if that was just referring to like back to back federal cases or state
Yeah.
cases or if they count together. I have no idea. So I'm in the process of sorting all that out.
And
Trying
it's
to,
ridiculous that you have to sort it out.
yeah. Although I will say, when I attempted to call after getting the state level one, I attempted to call the federal people, and I actually did get a voicemail because they were closed and there was a voicemail box, and I thought maybe that's the secret. Leave a message on the
Right?
voicemail after they're closed, so then somebody calls you. But yeah, it's been a roller coaster.
That sounds so fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous that everything is that inefficient too. Like
Mm-hmm.
they should have a thing in place where there is an alert in the system if you get called in one and not in the other. And there should be a thing in place where when you had your divorce and changed your legal name, that that goes properly into the system right away.
Yeah,
Because especially if it's at the state level, your divorce happened in that state, so I don't know how that didn't get
years
caught.
ago.
Yeah, years ago.
I changed my name immediately. I had no desire to keep that name.
I
uh,
don't blame you.
no offense to the name, my daughter has it, but it was attached to feelings for me, and I
Right,
didn't want that anymore. And it's a
exactly.
very, well, I don't know if I should say this. It's a very unique name that not
It
a lot of
sure
people in
is.
the area have. So when you have it and people recognize it, it's different than
Yeah,
having some sort of vague last name.
right.
And I changed it legally on every single thing except my condo title deed, whatever it is,
Yeah.
because that was a process I would have had to go to the courthouse for, and it was during COVID, and I had already dealt with having to change my social security number and license during COVID, and I was in no mood to do another weird process, and so I didn't, because it really doesn't matter. I can show my divorce, my marriage certificate, and my divorce paperwork and prove that it's me that way. But
Yeah.
I just thought to keep it clean in case somebody had to come and deal with all of my property if I passed away. I thought I would
Hmm.
take care of it, and then I never have. So maybe
Yeah.
that's why they have my last name the other way, if they pull it from property records or something,
Maybe.
but I don't know.
And now you're probably going
It's
to have
all a
to prove
mess.
to them that, like, you are the same person when it gets to that.
Heck, if it's too complicated, I'll just go to both. I don't At least
You
the
want to
other one is
hear?
local. It's very close, and it will be much easier for me to get child care lined up,
Yeah.
and it's one day instead of 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So,
There was one time when I got locked out of an account for a video game company, and I
hmm
had gotten married after creating the account, so everything was in my maiden name. And I had to send them my wedding certificate to prove that I was really me to get back into my account. I'm like, you
Oh
are
my
a video
goodness.
game. This is all fake. Who cares if someone is
Why the high
stealing my identity?
security?
Right. You have more security than my bank does. What's going on here?
I'll tell you what.
What was I thinking about? Double jury duty. I don't know. Oh, leave a comment down below if you've had any interesting experiences with our court system and jury duty, and if it's true for you that when you did finally get called, you got called multiple times or twice at least within short periods of each other, because that would be interesting to find out.
Or even a couple years. Like if you got
Right,
nothing for
exactly.
38 years and then suddenly once a year you're getting picked.
Right. I got called once, and it was close enough to COVID that they were way far behind and ended up canceling everything. So I didn't actually
Ooh,
have to go.
nice.
And I don't know if like that means it's going to be a while before I see my name again, or if it's like there's like a special pool of, well, this person didn't actually end up doing it if you want to grab them again. But I haven't heard anything else. It's been a couple more years, so it's just
It would be
another,
interesting to know the background of how all that works and like,
yeah.
what they do.
And it's just another example of how our government is just not on top of things. Yay, government.
Yeah. I don't pretend to
So,
understand much about the court system. I have not had any experience with it other than getting divorced, and even then all that was through my lawyer. I never had to show up or
Yeah.
participate in anything, and I've never been arrested. I've barely even had like one ticket in my life. Like I have
Well, I
no
know a few
experience.
things. And some of it is from John Oliver, so you can take that how you will. But like for
Love
instance,
him.
they uploaded a bunch of their old um what's his show called? Last Week Tonight or whatever.
Yeah. Last Week
Um
Tonight with John Oliver.
yeah, so they uploaded a bunch of the older episodes to YouTube. Like it's on HBO and then he uploads one clip out of each show to YouTube. And now they've decided to upload archived episodes. So a bunch of
Oh.
season 2 has been uploading. And they covered public defenders. And with public defenders, for instance, like they're often working, obviously they're underpaid. They're working in very rundown offices. And they're supposed to only handle like 150 cases a year. And some will end up handling anywhere from 350 to 1,000, which means on average they can only give 7 minutes of their attention to each case.
1,000?
Yes. And
Oh.
because of that, they often tell people to take a plea deal. So that means the person says right away, "Yes, I'm pleading guilty. Now let's bargain. Um, get my sentence reduced, whatever." And there was one girl who had taken the plea bargain deal, whatever you call it. If Nick does watch this, he can correct me. But she had taken it, and then for some reason the case had gotten thrown out or dismissed, and everyone who had not agreed to it was off the hook, and she still ended up having to go to jail for a few years and then have probation. And she's like, I just want to get back home and see my kids. I'm innocent. I only took this deal because I was told to. And it was just like this whole thing. But
Ugh.
you look at that, you look at the backup in the immigration court system, like a lot of, I'm going to put this in here. A lot of people who are here illegally aren't really. They're trying to do it the legal way, and the courts are so backed up that by the time the courts get around to their cases, they're already back in their country because we've deported them, even though they're trying to do everything right. So, the
Sounds
immigration
about
courts
right.
have a lot of issues too.
I mean, this just sounds like the recurring theme of our country. And everything we do not have enough people able
Exactly.
to do it. And so everybody is getting the least level of whatever service. You
Exactly.
know, we
Whether
don't have
it's
enough doctors
healthcare
and
or,
nurses, and so
right,
people wait too long in the ER. We don't have enough medical
right,
or mental health facilities, and so people spend weeks in the ER, you know, that need mental health care. We
right,
don't have enough mental health care facilities, and so people are in jail that should be in mental health care facilities.
right.
We have so many people in jail because we don't have enough pro bono lawyers, and nobody can afford. I
Hmm.
shouldn't say nobody. Many people cannot afford to pay a
Well,
lawyer,
and
but
the
lawyers have to make money too.
exactly. And the public defenders that you get aren't free because, in the Miranda rights, it's like if you can't afford one will be provided for you. You still get charged for that. And then you get charged other fees on top of that throughout everything. And then if you go on a payment plan, you get charged a fee for going on a payment plan. That was another thing in that episode that I watched was just there's a bunch of other charges that come along with it, and you end up having to pay thousands of dollars for this thing that you couldn't have afforded a private one in the first place, so you're not supposed to have to be paying that much. And then the government spends thousands of dollars trying to enforce you paying what you're supposed to pay and then putting you in jail if you can't or don't pay it or whatever. So it's just like a huge money loss on both sides. It's like, why are we doing this?
There's so many systems that could just use a total overhaul.
Mm-hmm.
They were great when we set them up for the amount of people that we had and the systems
Right.
that we had, but they slowly began to become overwhelmed, and now it's just to the point where everything's burning.
Yep.
And everything's on fire, everything's an emergency.
And if you need a special person to call back people who are trying to submit their reasons for excuse, hire somebody. It shouldn't be that hard to be able to explain why you can't do jury duty because some people honestly cannot.
So funny enough, towards the argument saying that the jury selection is not that randomized, as
Yeah.
soon as I got my federal summons. My mom, like a couple weeks later, received one, and we had the same last name. So, also suspicious.
Glad I
But
changed mine.
so another weird thing is that because I got summoned and then my mom did, when I was complaining about not being able to submit an excuse reason and the problem I was having with the website, she said one of my complaints was that you can only use 50 characters to say why, but they also say that you should be detailed. I couldn't even type the phrase single mother, primary caregiver, sole provider. I couldn't type that. That was too long. And I
You
was
remember
like,
when Twitter
are you
first came
kidding me?
out? And I was like, what's the point of only having however many characters? That was more characters than this.
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous.
I even tried abbreviating. I went from mother to mom, from single to SGL, like all kinds of things. And then I realized, it might be my computer because it's still not going through, and I counted the character, like all kinds of stuff. So then my mom says, well, what about the second box? And I said, what second box? And she said, for me, it was like I had a little thing to type, but then I had a second box where I could enter details. Doesn't exist on mine. I even looked after she talked to me about it. Why does she have a different website when we're both being called to federal jury service in the same state, at the same
And
courthouse?
I think, too, she was having issues submitting hers.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just like, I don't know. I'm
It's not that
sure,
hard to make
don't
your
get me
website
wrong.
work.
You're right. I'm sure some of it is user error. I don't pretend that I am the most tech advanced person on the planet, but at some point, it's not
Yeah.
just me. So our segment, Ari, Alexa announcements. Again, Alexa just asked me what my announcement was. Okay, so just as a reminder, when we make the announcement, it plays on every device in the home, and we have multiple. So I'm downstairs cooking, it was lunch or what it was, and Ari was upstairs using the restroom. And sometimes she gets very distracted and she like uses the restroom, does her thing or whatever, but then she starts playing with stuff in the bathroom and she's in there forever. And so I will yell up and check on her. What are you doing? Come back down because dinner's ready, that kind of thing.
Right.
So I had yelled up, and the announcement I got was, sorry if this takes so long. It's just that I'm going poop. And that just blasted through my entire house. And some of my Alexas are set at pretty high volume because I like to jam to my music on them. And
I hope your neighbors heard that.
I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did. I also have a fun little gem here, sitting at my desk. And while you were away checking on Jack, I found these.
Oh,
That's from
such
our
a classic
trip.
photo. Oh, I love it.
And then one last.
Silas's first trip to Disney. Oh, that was a good one. I like that
That was a
one.
good one.
The only one I like better than that is when we took him to meet Buzz and Woody, only because I had the matching onesie.
That was pretty good.
That was so much
Yeah, he's
fun.
in it in that picture. The Woody
Yeah.
onesie. You can
Yep.
see it.
That was tradition after so we got one for Silas, and then when Silas got bigger, I was like, well, guess we're buying the bigger size. And then I think Jack, did I get Jack one too?
I feel like he wore
I
one
know we
of
went a little Harry
Silas's old
Potter with
one.
him too, but I feel like I
Yeah.
got that for him too because I was like, well, it was just such a cute little onesie. If you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be and why?
Oh, dang. That's a hard one. I don't know, maybe Walt.
I know what my feminist answer would be.
There's so many ways you could go with this.
I know.
I'm not a big history buff, so,
Walt would be a
founding
good one,
fathers
though.
and things like that. I don't really care, but I love Disney, so it might be cool to meet Walt.
Yeah. I think it could be very interesting, too, to pick his brain on, like, the whole Epcot thing. Because,
Hmm.
obviously it isn't what he intended it to be.
Right.
Um,
But does he like it?
yeah. Yeah. Or, maybe if he was to try again, like what changes he would do, or if he had more time. Because that was the issue. He didn't have
Yeah.
enough time by that point,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But I would say the thing that initially came to my mind, which kind of surprises me, is Pocahontas.
Hmm.
But then I got to thinking, obviously, we all know the Disney version of Pocahontas, and then some of us know the actual story of poor Pocahontas and like
Right.
what happened by the time she gets over to England and all that
Excuse
nonsense.
me. Hmm.
And it would just be really interesting to get her actual perspective on everything that happened and the choices that were made, whether she made them or not, and just like seeing everything through her eyes as someone who lived in a totally different world than the Western one that developed.
Hmm.
So I think it would be very interesting to like be able to ask her questions. If you were a office supply, which one would you be?
Hmm. Probably a calendar because I am very organized.
Dang, good answer. I
I
would
live on
be
calendars.
I would be a paperclip because you think you need a lot of them and then you don't.
Oh, ouch! I thought you were going to say something nice, like because I hold everyone together, or you're like, no, it's because I'm unnecessary.
Because people think I'm necessary and then they figure out that I'm not. I have a lot of paper clips at
No,
my
that's
desk.
me because I keep getting reduced in force.
It's because you actually work. Stop working and then you won't get reduced. Everyone
You
else will.
know, that's the argument. I just am incapable of not
Ooh,
showing up.
I think I already know how I would answer this, and it would be interesting to see if you answer it the same way. If we were in a movie or TV show, what characters would we be?
Oh boy.
I will say my mind went to a TV show, and you're probably going to be a little offended.
A TV show?
Mm-hmm.
Like an old school one from our childhood or like a
Yes.
current one? Okay.
No. And one that probably speaks more to our high school, early college selves.
Hmm. I'm trying to remember what we even watched on TV back then.
I don't know that you really bothered to watch this one, but I think you know which
Oh,
show it is. Like, you know it exists.
okay.
But you can answer it with whatever answer you want.
What characters will we be and why? Um, I feel like we'd be um, Lorelai and Suki
Okay, am I
because
Suki?
yes, because
I can
you're
roll with that.
funnier and you love to cook, but
I
we're
do love to cook.
BFFs and I'm the single mom. And Suki does have multiple children towards the end of the show. And
And the
the
body
way that
fat.
they, well, Lorelai isn't chunky and I am, so there's, but the way that they bat back and forth and they work together and they spend all their time together and they enjoy it and they're funny and
That's so
that's
much
it.
nicer than my answer.
So what's yours?
Mine's not bad either because once you dig into the show, it's Daria. And I'm Daria and you're Quinn.
Okay,
Did you
I
ever
remember
watch
the
any of it?
show. Yeah, I
Okay.
remember the show, but I don't remember much about Quinn. I just remember Daria.
So Quinn is part of the like popular girls group or is like trying to stay in the popular girls group, but like the more you
Okay.
get into the show, the more you see that Quinn does have depth to her and like she's just trying to like fit in and survive basically. But
Yeah.
I could see also where I could be like, yeah, you remind me of Quinn from Daria, and somebody would be like, thanks. Thanks for joining us. You can find us at workingmomswine.com, patreon.com/workingmomswine. I just added an equipment fund on there because we need poor Nikki to get a laptop that can actually handle Riverside. She needs a
You
fan,
know?
people. I mean, and
Yeah.
to be fair, it would be nice if we had better sound equipment and recording equipment. So I think it could be a nice long-term fund. So feel free to chip in on that if you have the means. Um, you can find us on TikTok and Instagram. We have an email, workingmomswine@gmail.com, Spotify, YouTube, all the good stuff. Please leave comments. We would love to engage with you guys. Feel free to share us so we can reach more working parents. Yep. I know we're working moms who whine. That's right. But you can be a non working mom, you can be a working dad, you can be a whatever you want and still listen to us as long as you're here to have a good time and listen to us whine. and and we'll see you next time. Bye.